Welcome to Sweethearts or Rivals. I'm Charlotte.
I'm Justin.
What are we doing today?
Today we're looking at 25 game mechanisms ranked from least favorite to favorite.
Right.
Dun dun dun. And this isn't like every game mechanism in existence, just 25 common ones.
Pretty popular ones.
Yeah, exactly. And we actually have kind of an honorable mention before we even start, which is
hidden movement games.
That's right.
For whatever reason, we don't own any.
Nope.
And we can't think of any we played.
Nope.
We tried to play Nuns on the Run once, but it didn't work out.
No, we didn't get a chance to really play.
And Justin's been really wanting to play Spectre Ops.
Yeah, Spectre Ops looks really good.
Because it's the new hotness.
Yeah. Well, because it looks awesome.
Because it's the new hotness.
Because it looks awesome. So that's kind of our honorable mention, and then we're starting to start at 25.
25, yep. And how should we do it? Should we just blurt it out at the same time?
No, you go first, and then I'll go first, and then we'll just take turns.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your 25?
My 25th mechanism is war games.
War games. I have dexterity games.
Dexterity games.
Yeah, number 25.
Yeah. Interesting.
The reason for me is because I'm not very dexterous. I want my games to be thought-provoking and stuff like that. I don't need to flick things. It's just boring.
Right.
Okay.
And me, war games sometimes are like in the past, kind of. You know, like World War, whatever. Or
Yeah.
this certain war.
Mm-hmm.
Head-to-head.
Yeah.
Doesn't interest me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Number 24. My number 24 is war games.
That's funny.
What was your number 24?
My 24 is 4X games.
4X games. Why?
The explore, expand, exploit, exterminate.
Yep.
It just exterminate and exploit don't sound fun. It's a little too confrontational for me.
Gotcha.
But I don't mind the explore and the expand part of it.
There you go.
So I guess.
That makes sense. War games generally mean like direct confrontation, and direct confrontation isn't really something that we like. We like a little bit of confrontation because we're playing a game to beat each other, but not
the whole thing.
The whole thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Number 23.
Mine is real time.
Real time?
Yeah.
Interesting. Mine is miniature tactical games.
Miniature tactical games.
Yeah.
Yeah, my real time is probably just because I don't exactly know. We had the time and space game, and I just couldn't get into it.
Nope.
It just seemed like you need more time to think.
Exactly.
Than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And for miniature tactical, we've had a couple of attempts to get into miniature tactical kind of skirmish games, and sometimes they're okay, and a lot of the times I'm just kind of bored. I don't like taking like little sticks and seeing where I can move and maneuvering around terrain. It's not fun for me.
A little too much real life or not real life, but
I guess there's way too many constrictions on what you can do. I'd rather just take those little miniatures, get rid of them until I just got one, make it a role-playing game, get rid of everything else and just play a role-playing game. That would be fun. Yeah. Moving on.
So number 22.
22. My number 22 is random/luck.
That's funny. My number 22 is area control.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the reason I don't like random/luck, I like a little bit of randomness in a game to keep it fresh and different, and there needs to be that aspect, but not the whole game. If I'm just going to win based off just random luck, then why am I playing?
Yeah.
What about you?
Area control. It's because it's kind of like a tug of war. It's like, ooh, I have Canada, and then someone comes along and takes Canada.
Oh, that back and forth.
That back and forth.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm sure like there's strategies and tactics that you like, if I really got into it and thought about it, I could make it fun, but
yeah.
And I guess Risk really kind of ruined it for me.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. I don't know. 22.
The ruiner.
Area control. Yeah. Risk
All right.
the ruiner.
Yep.
Is that the new board game title?
Could be.
21.
21. What's your 21?
My 21 is Minis Tactical.
Minis Tactical.
Yeah.
Mine is real time.
I think we're well suited to play games together.
I think maybe. So, why not miniature tactical games?
It's kind of the same thing, I think, as like the Risk. like ruined me kind of thing.
Yeah.
Although Risk is not minis tactical.
Not really, no.
But it's like to try to, like you said, to try to figure out how many centimeters this one character can move, and then can I get him in the right position or her in the right position to do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
It's too much analytical thinking for me.
True. I played X-Wing, and X-Wing was fun.
It's because of the theme.
For a little while. And it was, because of the theme. And it was ships,
Star
it wasn't
Wars.
people.
And it was more about recreating, famous movie phrases and
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the theme kind of helped that one out.
For sure.
Good. Mine is real time, and the reason is pretty much the same as you. I tend to process slowly, so I need time to be able to think and work out what I want to do. As soon as you put a timer on it, then I can't think, and then it ruins the game for me. Although we do have Steam Park, which has a very small element of real time, which is quite fun because it's frantic. But then it's over, and you move on to the rest of the game where you can think and figure stuff out. So that is awesome. But a whole game on real time? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Number 20.
Whose turn is it?
I'll go. My number 20 is auction/bidding.
Mine is negotiation.
Negotiation, there you go. The reason I'm not a fan of auction is because straight up auctions are usually very long and drawn out. It's like, I'll bid 1, I'll bid 2, I'll bid 3, I'll bid 4, I'll
450.
bid 450, yeah. I'm going to break this token in half. 450, that's as high as I'll go.
Yeah.
Fine, 550. It's if you can make the bidding auction unique where it's not that classic, then I'm more open to it.
Right.
And it definitely can't be the main focus of the game.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yours?
Negotiation. I don't want to have like an open-ended who can out-talk who or try to convince someone of something to win the game. Like, no, I'd rather mow the lawn. Like, yeah. Negotiation.
Okay. We are up to number 19.
Mine is bidding.
Bidding, there you go.
What did you have? Bidding / what?
Mine was auction/bidding.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, auction/bidding.
Yeah. My number 19 is 4X.
4X.
Yep.
Yep.
So, go.
My bidding, similar to you, and also it's really lame as a 2-player. There are not very many good games that can do bidding as a 2-player game.
Absolutely.
When the majority of the games we play are 2-player.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 4X games also don't really make good 2-player games.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, there's that exploration and expansion, which is very cool, like civ building. That's neat. Yeah. But I'm going to mess with you, take that. We're not big into take that.
Right.
And we're definitely not big into direct confrontation.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it was a Doctor Who game and you could say exterminate a lot, it might be cool.
If you're the Daleks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exterminate.
There we go.
Yeah.
That works.
Maybe.
So, I am moving into my okay. I'm moving out of least favorite and into my okay mechanisms.
Yeah, I think I am. So I'm pretty much am too, actually.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 18. My number 18 is deduction.
My number 18 is dexterity.
There you go. Wow.
And the reason why I like it probably more than you, when we were little kids, one of the very, very first games I ever played was Crokinole.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I think, a Canadian thing.
Yeah.
But
very dexterous game.
Yeah.
I don't play it, ever.
But maybe we should put it and do a review for it, because it would be a cool...
Crokinole.
Yeah, Crokinole. Yeah.
Early Canadian push cars.
Yeah.
Or flick cars, whatever they're called. Yeah. Deduction is my number 18, and the reason it's kind of low is because figuring stuff out, I always have this thing in my mind like, okay, I figured this out, and then I go with it, and then somebody doesn't do what they would have done normally, in my mind.
Oh.
And it doesn't make any logical sense to me, and then I'm upset. Well, I'm not upset, but I'm frustrated.
A very Vulcan approach to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can see how that would be frustrating.
Yeah. So, like a game like Libertalia, Libertalia is a lot of deduction. What are you going to play? What am I going to play? And trying to figure it out.
Huh.
And
I don't play it that way.
No?
No.
And if it's just me and you, no problem. As soon as it's like 4 or 5 people and I'm trying to logically think of what you're all going to play, my mind breaks down.
Oh,
It goes,
I love the
steam
chaos.
comes shooting out my ears. Yeah. Okay, that's mine. Deduction.
So, number 17 we're on?
Yep.
My number 17 is abstract.
Abstract. Mine is negotiation.
It's funny.
Yeah.
And abstract, I think, is another thing because as a kid, you start off with a lot more abstract, like checkers.
Yeah, it's true.
I didn't get to play Mancal until I was a lot older, but I like those kind of games.
Gotcha.
Except for Go. I still can't wrap my mind around that one.
That's crazy, Go.
I
That's crazy.
suck at that.
Friend of ours said the best strategy for learning Go is play, what did he say, 25 or 50 games and lose as quickly as possible. And once you've done that, then you've learned how to play Go, which we haven't done.
25 or 50 games to lose?
Yeah, lose as quickly as possible.
Sounds horrible.
That's what he said. But we haven't done that.
Well, when I'm so bored,
Yeah.
like when the zombie apocalypse happens,
Yeah.
we can do that.
There you go. Mine's negotiation, number 17. And negotiation is because there's a certain point in an argument where I'm tired of arguing. And the conversation is just over. So if the other person I'm negotiating with can go beyond that, they're going to win. Because you know what? I'm just done.
And sometimes you always get that person, it's like, well, I'm going to offer you this. And then you counter and they're like, well, I'm still going to offer you this.
Okay.
It's like, well, that's not negotiation.
Yeah.
That's
true
frustrating too.
Yeah. And I would actually, there'd be a certain point where I would be that person. You know what? I'm just done. This is my offer. No? Okay, then we're moving on.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, negotiation.
Okay.
Number 16.
16.
Movement programming. Yeah.
Mine is co-op.
Co-op? There you go. The reason for movement programming is the idea of movement programming is very neat and strategic. It's like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and it's all going to be hidden. Ha ha ha. But you're also trying to deduct or deduce, whichever, what everyone else is going to do. And so that little bit of deduction throws it off for me.
Huh.
But I like the strategery of planning out your stuff several moves ahead. That's very cool.
When I play hidden, or what was it?
Hidden movement programming.
Movement programming. I don't really bother too much with what other people are going to do, and I just do whatever I want to do.
Nice. Okay.
I mean, you can only play your game, right?
Yes, but if you can play your game in reaction to other people's games, hopefully you can do it better.
Hopefully.
What's your 16?
My 16 was co-op.
Co-op, yes, co-op.
Now, there's two kinds of co-op. There's like semi-co-op, and then there's like full co-op.
Yeah.
So I would prefer more of a semi-co-op, I think, like in Dead of Winter.
Yes.
But a co-op where you're like trying all to decide, oh, what should we do, the best thing to win. It's just, I get tired of relying on everyone else to like win my game.
Yeah, that's true. We played a lot of co-op games, and we don't have very many of them.
No.
No. Good enough. Number 15.
My 15 is deduction.
Deduction. Mine is pick up and delivery.
Pick up and deliver.
Yep. 15.
And my deduction, I find it interesting to try to deduct what people are going to do. Whether it's just you and me playing or if it's with a big group.
Yeah.
I find trying to figure it all out. And I don't get cranky if I don't deduce the right thing.
But a lot of the games where you could be deducing, you don't. It's like, that's interesting. Program movement. Deduce. Yeah, I don't do that. I just do mine.
There's some... Anyway.
Yeah.
You're making me embarrassed now.
Sorry.
That's
it was just funny.
People would say it in the comments anyway. But...
Yep.
I don't have anything more to say about that.
Okay. If the game is like very upfront with, this is a game of deduction, then you're all in for it.
Right.
In a game that isn't obvious about, here's a strategy of using a little bit of deduction to help you out. You're like, meh.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Good enough. Yeah. All right. Mine was pick up and delivery. Pick up and delivery if it's not the main mechanism of the game, or it does it in a very unique way, can be very cool.
Yeah.
But if it is the main mechanism of a game, and it is just simply, I'm going to pick this up here, and I'm going to put it over here. Points. Then no. That's it. Okay. 14.
My 14 is sandbox.
Sandbox. Mine's co-op.
Interesting.
Yeah. What about sandbox?
Sandbox, sometimes there's just way too many things offered to you to go for.
Gotcha.
And if it's a true sandbox and you can just go all willy-nilly and do whatever you want,
Yep.
it's just a little overwhelming.
Okay.
But if you have a sandbox game that gives you a few goals,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more easy for me to enjoy.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Mine was co-op. Right. Forgot where I was. Co-op. And pretty much for the same reasons I said before. Semi-co-op is better because it pulls in a bunch of other mechanisms that all work together really, really well. That kind of treachery, deduction, like a lot of stuff that we don't usually like, but does work together well. Only in very specific cases.
Right.
Most of the time, that combo that should work really well together fails miserably. And yeah, Dead of Winter is one that has it
really good.
Yeah. We don't even like zombie games. Like, at all.
Well, we haven't even done our themes yet. How do you know if I like zombies or not?
I'm assuming we don't like zombie games based on previous conversations.
Because there's another game which I won't mention, but the whole game you're trying to co-op. You have to work together. You have to work together to even get anywhere close to the end of the game.
Yep.
But in order to win the game, you have to have like all these secret little tokens with points on them.
Yeah.
But in order to get close to win the game, you have to spend them. So it's like,
yeah,
you're not going to win the game if you don't get to the end.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get to the end if you don't want to spend your tokens.
Sure.
But you're not going to semi-co-op.
Well. Yeah.
If you keep anyway.
Yeah.
It's like
Archipelago or Archipelago, because we still say it the wrong way. That did semi-co-op well, because it was instead of semi-co-op from you're working cooperatively, and then at the end one of you wins. It was, this is not a cooperative game, except for one or two things that if you don't work together, everyone loses.
Right.
That was very cool.
And you kind of had to negotiate a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a good way of doing semi-co-op.
Yeah.
So semi-co-op if it's done right, and it's very hard to do it right.
Which I like better than a pure co-op.
Absolutely.
But co-ops in general are only good as co-ops.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so what number are we on?
13.
13.
Yep.
My 13... Oh, I think it's probably your turn to go first.
Probably.
I don't know.
13. My 13 is abstract.
Mine's drafting.
Drafting. Interesting. For abstract, I like a lot of theme in my games, but good game mechanisms can really tie a game together. They're almost more important than theme for me. So I can sit down and whip out a game of Mancala, and it's just pure mechanisms, and love it, enjoy it. Yep.
And my drafting, some drafting I like say Seven Wonders.
Okay.
I like that more than say Seasons.
Seasons, yeah.
Because you've got I'd rather almost be dealt out a hand of cards and just play with what I get.
Yeah.
Rather than picking for the whole game.
Yeah.
And then, because what if the cards you think you might work well don't work good together?
Yeah, that's true. Then your whole game flushed down the toilet?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And I also like Seven Wonders where you pick a card and play it before you move on.
Pick a card and play it. Drafting is my favorite drafting.
Yeah.
But drafting your whole cards before you start the game is my most unfavorite drafting.
And there's one in the middle where you draft a couple of cards and then you start to play them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Number 12.
My number 12 is set collection.
Set collection. Mine's area control. Yeah.
Wow, that's way higher than mine.
Yep. What's yours?
Set collection. I like collecting things and gain points for them.
Gotcha.
It's short and sweet.
Nice. Area control would be higher. I really like area control because there's lots of ways you can do area control that has nothing to do with confrontation.
That's true.
Which is very cool. I like that. kind of like Rococo, where
Yeah.
it's area control of who's on what floor and who's closer to the king.
Or Mangrovia that we played last night.
Yeah, that's the whole thing is area control, but in a very
In a
non-fighting confrontational way.
Right.
Yeah. The only reason area control isn't higher on my list is in most games, area control doesn't work well with 2 players.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because it's a tug of war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's number 12. Number 11. My number 11 is set collection.
My number 11 is movement programming.
Nice. Mine's just above yours, which is kind of cool. Set collection. It's funny because in a game, if there's multiple things you can do and set collection is one of them, I don't usually do it. But I enjoy it when it's like the focus of the game.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons why is we have several games that the focus of the game is set collection and they're strictly 2-player games and they work well.
True.
Yeah. So that's why.
Yeah.
And yours is?
Movement programming.
Yeah.
Which I like the kind of games that kind of go like step 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
And my movement programming lets me grab the movements I want.
Yeah.
And then I have them reserved. And it's only yucky when like he'll do a movement that blocks something that the movement I was going to do is going to be able to happen.
Yeah. And that's a big part of that movement programming is you've got that couple of steps programmed out and then I go and suddenly I'm in the spot that you're about to go to and it's totally messed up everything you've done.
Right.
And then you've got several movements that have been thrown right off.
That's the only thing that but generally, because it's like the 1, 2, 3 steps or whatever.
You get like a strategy
planned
out in advance. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So now we are going into our top 10.
We are.
And we have some examples of each of our top 10 of why, like games that we like because of this mechanism.
Right.
Okay. So, cream of the crop here, number 10.
Number 10. My number 10 is random luck-based games. Where was that for you? 24?
Oh yeah, it was way down there. 22.
That's hilarious.
Wow. My number 10 is Sandbox. Okay. So what's your example and why?
I have a couple of examples.
Okay.
And it's all games that are based on dice. So like Manila.
Yeah.
Or Machikoro.
Okay.
Or Quarriers.
Okay.
You do get to pick the dice in Quarriers, but you have to roll them. And then you have to figure out, it's like a puzzle after.
Yeah.
So the dice you roll are random and it's lucky, but you're set with a puzzle in front of you on what to do with your dice after.
Gotcha. Cool. For sandbox games, the reason I like sandbox games is I love having multiple paths, multiple things you can do, where it's just wide open. You can do whatever you want, and everything's going to get you something. And it comes down to finding a good strategy to get whatever it is you need to win the game. And I love exploring sandbox games. Like, I'm going to try this time.
Right.
My example would be Firefly, wide open, where you can just do whatever you want. Good.
Cool.
Number 9.
My number 9 is bluffing.
Bluffing. My number 9 is bluffing.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
And I like bluffing games like a Resistance Avalon.
Yes.
Because I'm really good at them.
Yeah. And it's funny because deduction, which usually goes hand in hand with bluffing, deduction's way down on my list. Because I'm not very good at it. But bluffing, like if we play Avalon, I always want to be the minion. Because that is fun. But when you're not the minion and you're trying to deduce, not as fun.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bluffing part of it's really
The bluffing
fun.
is awesome.
And no one ever knows when I'm the minion.
Nope. So that's number 9.
Yep.
Number 8.
It's probably your turn to go first.
My number 8 is storytelling.
My number 8 is deck building.
Deck building, nice.
Yeah.
Storytelling games, it's interesting because a lot of storytelling games that focus on telling a story don't have much game to them. So if you can give me a game that has serious game mechanisms and storytelling, I'm all in. Once Upon a Time is a good example. I like that.
Yeah.
But there's even some games that the storytelling isn't really a part of the game. It just naturally comes out of it, like The Village.
Right.
And I love that.
Yep.
So that's my storytelling.
And mine was deck building.
Deck building.
Which I like deck building. We just recently it's a classic game, but we hadn't played it earlier, and it's Dominion.
Yeah.
And I like how you're presented with the cards in your hand, and you have to use those cards to gain other cards.
Yeah.
And I really find it's a fun engine kind of building.
Yeah. So you're building your deck during the game.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas we have Netrunner, which is a deck builder that you build your deck before you start playing.
The game.
Yeah. And
which is cool too, because then you can look at all the cards that are available to you and try to find the ones that work well together.
But we tend to, if it comes down to a game where you're introduced to a certain number of things at a time as you're playing the game, we like that better than here's everything that's available for the entire game.
Choose what you want.
Choose what you want to do.
Yeah.
We tend to, So.
And for me, that's like I said earlier. I'd rather be dealt a hand of cards.
Yeah.
Than,
Yep.
And I really like random and kind of luck. Yeah. So it all goes hand in hand.
Right on.
Yep.
Number 7.
Number 7.
My number 7 is deck building.
Mine is pick up and deliver.
Nice.
Yep.
Deck building, pretty much the same reasons as you said. And again, like as awesome as Netrunner is, and I love the game, we don't play it as much because it takes a lot of time to sit down and go through the cards and build your deck before you even start playing the game. Whereas for Dominion, let's just throw these cards in because we haven't played with them and then see what happens.
Yeah. And
you're learning the game as you build it. With deck building, there's also kind of like bag building.
That's true.
That kind of stuff, which is more of a new set of games.
Yeah, dice building.
Dice building. And I also like those as well. Hyperborea is amazing. It's a bag builder. I'm really looking forward to when we get Orleans.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't Roll for the Galaxy kind of be a dice builder?
Yeah, sort of a dice builder, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, deck building. What's your number 7?
It was pick up and deliver.
Right on.
And I like games where you're like, okay, if I pick up this here at A, and if I can get to there before Justin and deliver it, I can get a whole great big payout. It's kind of a little bit like gambling to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I like that. And then it's like a system too. It's like, and you can see a path. Oh, I'll go here and get that, and then drop that off there. But there I can pick up this, and then if I can get over there, and I'll deliver that. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and my example would be Sky Traders.
Sky Traders, nice. Yeah. Sky Traders is good.
Has a good theme too.
Yeah.
Sky Traders. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So we're moving on to number 6. What's your number 6?
My number 6 is action selection.
Action selection. My number 6 is economic engine. Yeah.
Interesting.
What do you got for an example and a reason?
My example is Mangrovia. I like action selection.
Yep. That's a good one. I like that. Cool.
Same. It's a similar reason as movement programming too. They're very similar.
Yeah. You get to choose which actions you're going to take. Mangrove is interesting because you choose from a bunch of actions and you choose one, the next player chooses one, and it comes back around you until there's no more actions to choose.
Yeah.
And then you take them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of programming for that one.
Right.
But there's also like San Juan, where you're choosing a role, which is the action you're taking, which is interesting.
I like those games too.
Yeah. Cool. My number 6 is economic engine. I really enjoy a game where you can give me a bunch of tools and then I can use those tools and put them together to create the engine that's going to get me with a victory. So I like that. That's very cool. An example of that would be Roll for the Galaxy. You're kind of building up this engine and getting specific kind of dice to get your points because there's several different ways you can win. Yeah. Cool. Number 5.
My number 5 is economic engine.
Mine's drafting.
Drafting.
Yep.
And I like the economic engine for the same reason as you.
Yeah.
Like, I like, say, I get this. And then once I have that, I can get this. Once I have that, that's going to give me that.
Yeah.
And then it just snowballs and snowballs and snowballs.
Yeah.
And gets bigger and bigger.
And seeing whose engine is more efficient and, like, spits out the victory faster.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And my example would be like Power Grid for Sparks.
Yeah.
Or Suburbia.
Yeah.
I like those two.
For Sparks is a very, very tight economic engine because if you make a mistake, you're left in the dust for the rest of the game. Yeah.
And I like the theme of that too because it's like, in the way back past.
Caveman stuff.
Caveman stuff, and it's got the cute little meeple berries and stuff.
Cool. My number 5 is drafting. What's your number 5?
I just did my number 5.
Oh, right.
Economic engine.
Right.
You got confused because
I'm a little bit confused. Yep.
Because wasn't your number 6 economic?
Yes,
Yeah,
it was. That's
you got
why.
mixed
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
I did. So my number 5 is drafting. My example is Seven Wonders because it's my favorite, and for the same reasons we talked about before. I prefer drafting during the game instead of before. I prefer drafting. You draft and play instead of draft a couple of times and then play a couple of times. But drafting is, I like it because you're building up this deck of something. So it's almost like a little bit of economic engine building and stuff like that, but in the draft.
Yeah.
Plus it's a unique way of looking at what everyone else is doing and then drafting to help yourself and not help them.
Right.
Which is kind of a passive aggressive way of confrontation, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it is interesting to know, like, oh, this is the hand, I have to pass it to them, and you're kind of deducing.
Like, I'm gonna have to throw a card away to get $3, and you over there, you're getting a whole lot of science, so I'm gonna toss this science away. Oh, it's gone, and they don't even know it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Or if they had that hand already, and they're just waiting for it to come back around, and they're like, oh, it's gone. Like, oh, but no one played it. What happened to it?
Yeah. So that's drafting.
Yep. What's your 4?
Number 4 is puzzle / tile laying games.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. At number 4.
Number 4.
Yep. You go first.
I just love a good puzzle. And then throw in like something like Carcassonne with the meeples and the knight, the farmer, and the robber.
Yep.
It's just, that's just fun rolled up in a barrel.
Nice. Excuse me. I couldn't hold that one in. Yes. Now, if we're talking just straight tile laying games, Carcassonne is where it's at. Carcassonne is just awesome. Great, big, huge. Like, there's been times where we look at it and it's like, I should really play this tile over there to get the best points for me. But it fits that one spot right there perfectly. And so I'll put it there just because it fits.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also like just puzzly games where you're trying to figure out how things are going to fit together. So like Vikings is a puzzle and a tile laying game.
Yeah.
That's a great example of one.
And so is Maharani.
Yeah, yeah. Where you're trying to just figure out how things are going to fit together the best for points.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
Number 3.
Number 3. What's your number 3?
Storytelling.
Storytelling. Mine's worker placement.
I love storytelling games.
Yes.
I like to be creative. I'm creative all the time. And I can't help it.
Yeah.
Any game I probably play, I'm probably thinking of a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, to go along with it.
Yeah.
So my example for storytelling would be like Once Upon the Village.
Once Upon the Village.
The same games that Justin said. Once Upon a Time in the Village.
Yeah.
But I mean, the village could just be called to me Once Upon the Village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a unique setup where your family members are dying, and they're just dying because they're dying, but it's always interesting to figure out why and how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened? Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. The only kind of downside, I guess, with storytelling is you do have to be very creative. So if the game is specifically storytelling and you're not in the mood to be creative, then you're not going to be able to play it.
I know, and I hardly ever get to play those games because even when we have people over, they're always like, I'm too tired for a storytelling. I'm not creative enough for a storytelling game.
Yeah, it's too bad. My number 3 is worker placement. Very, very, very classic worker placement. I put my worker here, and now it is blocked, and there's nothing you can do. We're moving on. That's okay. Kind of like Lords of Waterdeep. It's okay. It's fun, but it can be frustrating when you're like one spot you absolutely need is just blocked.
Yeah.
So worker placement for me gets really interesting when you make like innovative rules for worker placement, like Euphoria, where there's places where as many workers as you want can go, but they all add to each other to get more stuff. Or you can bump workers off, which means you're not blocked, but you're helping that person get another turn. Things like that.
Not bump them off, like bump them off.
No.
Move them out of their
shift them
space.
off the spot. And
Right.
then, yeah, because the person gets them back. Yeah. So things like that, very, very interesting. And then like Stone Age, where you've got so many people and you can place, like I'm going to place 4 of them out here, and that's going to give me a better chance of getting the gold because I get to roll 4 dice.
Playing the odds.
That's awesome. So stuff like that, love worker placement.
Yeah.
Good.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is time resource management.
Me too.
What's your example and why?
My examples of time resource management would probably be, I have 3.
Okay.
Would be Macau.
Macau.
It's got a little bit of the pickup and delivery.
Yeah.
But it's also got the time management is when you have to do them at the best time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Rococo.
Rococo, yes.
Because you have to manage your resources to make the dresses.
Yep.
And you have to manage your time to pick up the resources. And Glass Road, which is very interesting, a resource management game.
That is some very unique resource management in Glass Road.
Yes.
Yeah.
How you gain your resources, how you manage that to gain them.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. That's an interesting kind of, I should have used that as an example of an economic engine. Because when you start playing Glass Road, you've got nothing there to get you points. And so you have to find the things that can get you the points and then build the engine around it to feed that to get the points. But yeah, also amazing, unique resource management.
Yeah.
Yeah. For my example, for time/resource management, I put the village because you have to actually manage time before you guys die. You have to manage your resources, which are cubes that you're pulling up, and also things that you're building. You also have to manage your people and put them in strategic places so that when they die at the right time, they go into the chronicle to get you the points.
Right.
So many different time/resources to manage in that game, and it's
true.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is good.
I also like Euphoria for that because there's 4 different commodities, there's 3 different resources, there's artifacts, there are also markets, and there's workers, and all of them have to be managed on multiple levels to get what you need.
And they all have to work together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very, very cool. I like that.
Very interesting.
Yep. What is your number 1?
Are we at number 1?
Number 1.
Well, we could probably deduce because it's the only one I haven't said yet.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
It's worker placement.
Worker placement, right. What's mine?
I can't think of it.
There's too many.
Yeah.
Mine's action selection.
Action selection.
Yep. Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
All right. So action selection. I love having things where it's like, well, because I've done this, now I'm going to choose that action. So a really good example that I really love is Bora Bora.
Yeah.
You roll your dice, and then based off of what you have for the dice, well, I could choose this action or this action or this action. It's going to mean this thing. And one of the things with a lot of cooperative games that we've played that I really, really don't like is, for example, in Eldritch Horror, I'm going to do this. Oh, well, roll your dice to see if you're successful. Nope, I failed. And then you got to wait. It comes back to you. I'm going to try that again. Roll your dice, failed. And you're just sitting there spinning tires and doing nothing.
Yeah.
So in Dead of Winter, you roll your dice, and based off of what you've rolled, those are the actions you can select.
Right.
And that is so much more satisfying.
It is way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't feel like you're just wasting time doing nothing. And it's boring. Yeah. So.
And if you don't have the luck of the roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's still things you can do that are effective.
Right.
In Dead of Winter.
Right.
Because you can select them based off the dice. So.
But it's true.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I like it the best. I'm going to select this action, and then that's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's my number 1.
My number 1, worker placement.
Yep.
And I just like being able to, well, I guess it's kind of like worker placement lends itself really well to resource management.
Yes, it does.
And they all tie in together.
Mm-hmm.
But worker placement, I just like being able to have a certain amount of people. I have this many people to do this many things. How am I going to use these workers most effectively to get what I want?
Nice.
And I've been really smitten with Stone Age lately. Yeah. I really like that worker placement game.
I'm really looking forward to getting the expansion for it. It opens up a couple new things.
And then 2 more that I really like are good examples are Belfort.
Yeah.
Because your workers are different kinds of workers.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
And you can use them to do different things.
Mm-hmm.
Or combinations of them to do different things.
Yep.
And viticulture is very classic
worker
placement.
Yep.
you know, I put my worker here and I blocked you and now you can't get any more wine orders. Ha ha ha. I'm going to win.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our list of 25 game mechanisms from least favorite to most favorite.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reason we decided to do it was because when we were putting together our top 5 games we like to play together, I kind of felt like it wasn't so much the games I was liking the most, it was the mechanisms in the games that I liked the most. So kind of
a
grew out of that for me.
But on the other side, on another note, or on the other side, or another viewpoint of that is, it was very difficult to pick my favorite mechanisms by themselves, because very few games have like, this is the one main mechanism.
It's true.
The games that I enjoy the most have a selection of mechanisms put together in very unique ways.
Right, that work really good together.
Yeah. Dead of Winter has a bunch of mechanisms that traditionally I don't like. Mm-hmm. But the way that it is put them together is awesome.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep. So that's always something to kind of keep an eye out.
Right.
Yep. Awesome.
That's our list.
That's our list.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
We'll see you next time.
Laters.
Into our top 10, so we're really liking these ones.
Yep.
So I like movement programming for his having troubles now.
Blooper. Want me to go first?
Maybe.
Okay. Do you want to start again?
Maybe.
Okay.